up, guys? And we are back out here, same day, as you probably can tell. We still got Riley over here drinking his Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Thanks to Riley. He got the 4G64 on the engine stand for us, and we can start getting to work on this thing. Don't you like our lovely lip just sitting over there? But now we can get this thing together. I have already measured the block already, so we already know our clearances are where we need to be. I measured the rods as well, so this thing is ready to go 100% together. I don't know if we're gonna get it all the way together today, but I definitely wanna get the crank in it and maybe get the pistons on the rods. And then at that point, we just have to file a ring. So maybe we will get it done today. But dealing with the hurt hand, and obviously we're still on the same day as you guys saw in the video prior with the white STI. So still being limited. Thankfully, I have Riley here to help me with it. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna get this bottom cradle off here. This is the main line of the block. And to do that, we need to take off these nuts, pull out these studs, and then we can pull off this girdle. We can clean everything, make sure we're good to go. I know a lot of you are probably gonna be questioning, why are we in the garage? We're not in our clean room. Well, obviously I'm crippled right now with this one hand of fury. So I'm not gonna be able to get this thing up the stairs, and I don't really wanna try to battle out with Riley. So this being a personal engine, it's clean enough in here that we can build this motor. So that's why we're not in our clean room. This was a customer based thing, then yes, obviously I'd make it a key point, but being my personal thing, I can build it where I want, and we're gonna get going on this. So first off, like I said, we're gonna get this off. I'm gonna get the table out, and then we're gonna get this apart, get it cleaned, and get this cranked in this block. So let me get that knocked out. We'll catch you guys up as soon as we get the table out and get everything up here. Thanks, guy. Did all the hard work. Blocks here, obviously. We got everything laid out here that we're gonna need. Got our nice new brush washers, and we got our lube. So we're gonna get that bottom cradle off of there. I'm gonna set you guys up so you can watch. I'm gonna flip this thing back over because we're doing some thumbnail stuff for you. So let's get to work. Turn it on over. Oh, you already turned over.
Houdini.
Before we get started with our assembly on our short block, I'm going to go over some things for you guys, for anyone that's DIY and looking to build an engine. Some good tips on what you should be doing when you're building your engine and how to be clean. But obviously you want the cleanest that possible scenario you can, and obviously this is testing that since we're in the garage. Good thing is blow this thing off with air and brake clean all your surfaces, brake clean your bearings out, get everything spotless. Make sure not to put anything underneath the bearings as far as assembly lube. Make sure it's nice, clean. pop your bearing in and then put your assembly lube on top of them. That is a big thing. So once we got this all clean, we have everything laid out here. On this engine, we have a thrust bearing, which you can see there, those guys go right on the center there. For the crankshaft, that protects it from moving back and forth. When you're pressing your clutch in, that actually puts pressure on the crank, and that's what that's kind of protecting it from. So crank walk, like a lot of you will know it as, that's what that protects that against, is these thrust bearings. So we have those. We obviously have our girdle or main bearing cover here, and this needs to be bolted on to the engine, but we have to put that on and then screw our studs in for when we're doing it. There might be some people that like to put the studs in and then put that on. I prefer just putting this on, screw your studs in, and then put your washer and nuts on there. It works a lot easier that way, and you're not having to tap that down so much with a rubber mallet or anything like that. Then obviously we have our rods out here. The bearings are still in them because we measured them all, so we will have to pull those back apart. We got our pistons laid out. We have our crankshaft. Same thing with your crank. You're going to want to brake clean and blow it off with air. So that way you can make sure it's the cleanest scenario possible, especially like a used crank that has oil on it. You definitely want to get that thing clean. This has already been hot tanked and polished, so not too much to worry about here, but that gives you a quick run over. Obviously we use some O'Reilly's brake cleaner. I like to use Joe Gibbs assembly lube, but I'm all out right now. So this is something I've used in the past and it works pretty well. So you can pick this up at O'Reilly's. It's very cheap. So I went ahead and got a new one of those today. That's what I'll be using to assemble this thing. But that gives you a quick overview of this before we get started. And now we are gonna get started. We're gonna throw these thrust washers on. I like to put some lube on them and they'll stay on there and stick on. And then we'll get assembly lube on our bearings. We'll sit our crankshaft in there and we'll put our top cradle on. So let's get to it, guys, and let's get this motor built. now we got our main girdle on, everything's clean, torque, crank is in, spins super nice, guys. We are ready to flip this engine over. We're gonna get our rods and pistons assembled together. But before we do that, I'm gonna use the piston to push down the rein into the block so that way I can start measuring reins and we can start getting those reins filed and gapped to where we want. So first up, let's spin this thing over. Rip, bud.
Take her for a rip, bud.
It is finally time. Thanks to Riley, he got these pain in the butt clips in there. For those of you that know, because those things suck. What's your take? Do you have a thumb left?
Yeah, I got a thumb, but hardly a thumbnail. Better than a screwdriver.
A screwdriver?
Ski-driver.
Well, he got him, and I picked up this super nice ARP 87 mil ring compressor. If you guys have not used one of these yet, and you're using like an O'Reilly style one, or one of those style that clamp down, throw that thing in the garbage and pick up one of these, because these things are a lifesaver. Once you use one, you'll never go back. So we got that. We got our ATF, the lube up the cylinder walls, put that in. We got to load these up with our rings still. All of them are numbered down there, so that way we know which ones. Obviously our rings are still numbered. Block is all clean, ready to go. So let's get these rings on these pistons, get the pistons in, and we have a fully assembled short block.
All in Facebook.
Yep. And then we can focus on obviously doing like the oil pump and oil pan, all that good stuff, and putting the head on later on. But hopefully we can just get this thing into a short block tonight. Well guys, we ran into some problems that definitely suck. Should have known, with these being H-Tough rods, they're thicker and they're hitting the block, unfortunately. So that means that we need the clearance to block. Probably not going to be able to show you guys here, but if you look down in the block, and you can see the cylinder hole there, but if you look in front of that right there, that's where it needs to be clearance, because that's where the rod is hitting. So we got two of them in, all the way bolted down, and went to go turn it over. Second we did, it got stuck right there. So Man, that sucks. All day just to tear it back apart, clean everything, and now I gotta grind the block, guys. Well, that just freaking blows. Not too motivating. Definitely sucks, but we'll work through it. We're just gonna have to pull it apart, clean everything. Obviously now with pulling it apart and we have bearings in there, we're gonna have to pull the bearings out, clean behind them, because usually when you pull it apart, the bearings start to stick to the crank. Then we get anything behind the bearings, that's not good. So it's just not a good process, because now we have to take it apart and clean everything. Like I said, I don't build Evos every day, but I should have known that with these being a thicker rod, there was a chance that it would happen. Subaru cases, I don't have this problem with these rods, thankfully. The only thing with Subarus that you ever have to worry about is actually the bottom of the rod and where the cases come together, and at the bottom of the cylinder is where they do. But I don't ever have this issue with them, so I didn't even think about it. But yeah, it just sucks. Dang it, Riley. Should have got the I-beams. What was I thinking? Just should have.
Now you know.
Now we know. So that's gonna end out the video here, guys. It's probably even a long video as it is anyways, but unfortunately that's just how it goes, guys. That sucks a lot, but when building cars, run into issues, and it's not about what they are, it's just how you overcome it. So we'll get this thing tore back down, we'll get it cleaned up, and we will get it notched out, and then we will get it reassembled again. Obviously it's just not going to happen tonight, so that's going to end it out. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.